Hey guys, it's Mel. Welcome to my channel. So for this video, I have decided that I'm going to do a collaboration with my friend Connor from Connor Booktube.
Hello.
So yeah, I had a lot of fun playing that game, Reread, Rewrite, Burn, by myself the other day, and then I was chatting with Connor and we thought it might be fun to do a collaboration where we play the game together. So that is what we're going to do. You'll have to excuse me, it's my first time collaborating with another booktuber, so this is very new to me. So anyway, hopefully it goes well. Alright, so we have coordinated books that we've both read, and we've both got a little bucket or something that we are going to pull 3 titles out of and then decide which we will reread, which we will rewrite, and which we will burn. So both of us will decide for the same list. Would you like to start, Connor, or shall I?
You're the host, you can start.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right, so, I better do a proper... Let's see. The first one, Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. So when I'm editing, I'll put the picture of the book. So yes, Twilight by Stephanie Meyer, Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins, and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling. So, yes, Catching Fire, Twilight, and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. So, do you want to decide first, or I pulled the button?
This is really tricky because I actually liked all of the series. I think I'd have to burn the Twilight one.
Yep.
Just because I like the other 2 series more. I like Twilight, but not as much as the others. So that one's gone. And then I think I'd reread Catching Fire because I really loved that. And I'd rewrite The Goblet of Fire because I think whilst I love how big the book is, and I think it's great that it's actually so long, there's a lot of stuff in there that isn't essential. So I'd just get rid of some of the things.
Put
the book down by a couple of 100 pages. You'd still have the same good content, and it'd still be really good.
Yeah.
I liked it, but I think you didn't need everything. So I'd also get rid of a couple of the issues in it because there's a lot of, not so much plot holes, but little inaccuracies that I'm not a big fan of that do annoy me.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Mine is actually going to be very similar. Okay, so I'm just going to say to anyone watching, please don't hate us for any of our opinions. And given that Stephanie Meyer has just published another book, I know that my opinion is going to be incredibly unpopular, but I'm not a huge fan of Twilight. I enjoyed reading it when I read it, but I have so many issues with it. Not least from a feminist point of view. But yes, I just have so many issues with the content and with the message that it sends, that I just find it really difficult to get past that. And like when you have an author who's amazing, you can kind of get past some of the issues in their content, but I don't think Stephanie Meyer is an amazing enough author that I can look past any of the issues, if that makes sense. So I have to burn Twilight, which means that I'm probably going to do the same, I think, actually, because I agree with you. I love Harry Potter as well. But yeah, J.K. Rowling does tend to be a little bit of she has to have a character who explains what happened to everybody at the end, which I don't think is, I mean, it's fine. It's a fun story, but I don't think it's amazing story craft. So I will rewrite Harry Potter and I will reread Catching Fire. So we're the same.
Yeah. Good. With the Goblet of Fire just stresses me out because I think all of them challenges are so stupid because they all have people watching them, but
yeah, and it's kind of the whole thing.
The underwater one, you just stare at a lake.
Yeah, it wouldn't be very.
The maze one, they just stare at the maze. Like there's no logic.
It's not that interesting. Yeah. And they're used to Quidditch, so you'd think that they're used to really exciting games. But cool. Well, that was cool. For those people that are watching, this sounds really weird saying that because no one is watching. But when people are watching, Connor and I actually, I think, have quite different tastes in books, and I think have quite different opinions about books. So it's interesting that we lined up so much in the first round.
Downhill from it. So if I pick the same book out that we've already had, do I just chuck it?
Yeah, just chuck it. Yeah, all right.
I can't swizzle mine because if I do, they'll all go flying. The Silver Chair, which is the 6th book in the Chronicles of Narnia series. You know when you put something in, you're like, why did we do this?
Yes.
The Diary of a Young Girl.
Oh, yes, by Anne Frank. Yes, yes. That's going to be tricky because how do you decide? Yeah,
well,
anyway.
Right, that's... I'll give my opinion on that. And, here's your favourite book, Cradle and All by James Patterson.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll go now there. I guess I will go because you went first does that make sense? Yeah, my favorite book. Yeah. Look, I feel bad. I didn't hate it. I know you love James Patterson. I didn't hate it. I just didn't really get what was going. Like, I didn't see a point to it. That sounds awful. I didn't hate it, but I didn't see the point to it.
I got your point. Once you got to that ending, it felt like it was a prequel to the story.
Yeah.
So I get that point, and I really feel as though if they'd have written a sequel,
it would have made
I'd have been fine reading it more.
Yeah. Like, I didn't dislike his writing or anything. I just, yeah. Anyway.
I don't think it was his best. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested to read more and see. Maybe I should read some Alex Cross because they sound like they'd be quite fun.
They're very good, but he does talk about his family a lot, so you need to kind of read them in order.
Okay. So what's the first one?
He's talking about past cases. Along Came a Spider is the first one.
Oh, see, I like that movie. So
very good movie.
There you go. Yeah.
The book's better.
Well, that's usually the case. I think, anyway. Okay. So, sorry. What were they? Diary of a Young Girl and
Diary of a Young Girl, Cradle and All, and The Silver Chair.
The Silver Chair. Okay. So, I'm going to burn Cradle and All, which I'm sure is no surprise whatsoever to you. I'm going to rewrite the Diary of a Young Girl, even though that's kind of a tricky thing to say because it is genuinely a diary of the actual person.
Yeah.
Mostly because I love the Chronicles of Narnia, and so I'm going to reread The Silver Chair.
Well, I don't know how to politely give an answer. Because like you said, how do you rewrite a diary? And then at the same time, given that it's about Anne Frank, how can you burn it?
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's very insensitive.
Especially given it's Anne Frank. I feel like maybe we should have not put that one in there. But anyway, it's there now, so...
Hindsight, yeah. Let's not do that again.
Yeah, maybe not.
I think I took the longest to read The Diary of a Young Girl. So yep. I wouldn't burn it, I would donate it, because you can't burn a book from someone who was in a concentration camp.
Yes, no.
You can't do that.
No. And then, please don't come for us. Anyway. Continue.
The Silver Chair was actually my favourite of all of the Narnia books.
Oh, really?
I don't really know why, but I really loved it, and I think I actually read the entire thing in about half an hour.
Yeah, they're pretty little.
And it was really my favourite one. So I'd reread that, and I'd rewrite Cradle and All, and basically cut the majority of it out and just make that entire story into a prequel and write the rest.
And then write the actual story.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Or at least just change the ending so that
just
whole last chapter didn't happen.
Yeah. Or just cut it, yeah. Yeah, because I was fine with it, and then the last chapter, and it was like, so what was the point of everything I just read? Yes. Oh, dear. Okay, so let's try and be not quite so controversial this time. All right, so we have The Hobbit by Tolkien, Magician's Nephew which is another chronicle of Narnia.
That was the very first one, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, and we have The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is the second chronicle of Narnia.
Oh, God. I really like the Chronicles of Narnia, so this is tricky.
And it's going up against The Hobbit, which is pretty much the same, it's the same ilk, really.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
I think I'd have to burn The Hobbit, because I think when I read it, that was the one I liked the least.
Fair enough, yep.
Oh, I'm going to get some hate for that one. I got hate when I gave it a 3-star review.
It's okay, it's going on my channel, so I'll get your hate.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. And then, see, I really enjoyed The Magician's Nephew.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% certain of the plot. But I don't know whether that's because Narnia was made into a film and it's discussed a lot more than The Magician's Nephew is.
Okay, yeah, fair enough, yep.
But I really liked the ending of Magician's Nephew, because it kind of explained a lot of Narnia. And I love it when a book does that. It explained everything, like how the wardrobe was created, and and I really liked that story of it. But I think I would reread the Chronicles of Narnia and rewrite that, and just I'd kind of make more references. Obviously, it wasn't the first book written, but it was set for the rest of them. So I think there could have been a lot more references to the future books that were in there. So I'd have just added a few more references, because there was some, but there wasn't enough for what could have been in there.
Okay, yep. I get what you're saying. Cool. Yeah, these are kind of my childhood. How do I burn my childhood? I love C.S. Lewis and Tolkien. But I think I'm going to have to I think I'm going to have to burn The Magician's Nephew. I'm going to get hate for that one. And rewrite the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And reread The Hobbit. If The Hobbit just existed by itself and there wasn't The Lord of the Rings, I potentially would have a different answer. But there's a lot of stuff that is set up in The Hobbit that then kind of is responded to in The Lord of the Rings, and I love The Lord of the Rings. I haven't read it for so long, because I read it to the point where I reread it so often when I was a kid that I could basically repeat it verbatim. So yeah, anyway, but I love the whole story, and I love Tolkien and his world building and his characters, and so I have to do it that way. Don't hate me. Anyway, it's your turn.
Oh, was it me again? Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. How many rounds did you want to do, by the way?
Oh, I don't know. I just thought we was going to end up going until the cup was empty.
Okay, that's cool. That works for me. That's only 7 anyway, so.
Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Okay, yep.
Is it called the Philosopher's Stone over there?
Yeah. Yeah, none of this Sorcerer's Stone business.
Breaking Dawn.
Okay,
the fourth Twilight.
Yep.
And Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Oh, okay. Oh dear. What are we going to do? Okay, well, I'm going to start by burning the Twilight book, of course, because I've already mentioned that I didn't hate my experience, but issues. I'm going to rewrite Chamber of Secrets, and I'm going to reread The Philosopher's Stone. So, yeah, I thought that The Philosopher's Stone was a really great world-building book, really great setup book. And The Chamber of Secrets is my least favourite Harry Potter book, I think. It's just not as interesting. I mean, it's still great and still enjoyable and I still love it, but it's not as good, I don't think. So that was me.
Well, easy one to start off with, I would burn The Chamber of Secrets because I hated it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
For start, I hate snakes, so that just makes me not want to enjoy it. There's so many things, and you're just like, really? Like in all the videos where they say there's just like so many plot conveniences in it, and I just don't think it's the most exciting of the books. I think it's probably one of the most boring stories as well.
Yep.
I think I would rewrite Breaking Dawn just because she kind of wrapped it up in a nice little bow. Like, no main characters. Like, I'm trying not to spoil actually. Like, but the whole big thing at the end, like,
yes.
I just feel like there needed to be more of a after so many build up in the books. There needed to be more.
There needs to be more payoff.
Yeah, there needed to be more of a thing at the end because it just kind of went.
Yeah.
Just kind of ended.
Well, unlike JK, who did hurt our friends. Yeah.
But yeah, I think even now that there's this new one coming out that's basically Twilight, but another way. I think had there been more of a dramatic ending, more of a payoff towards the end, it'd have made more people even more excited to read it because they'd like, my favourite character's going to be in this one again. I can't wait to see. And I just think it'd have had more of an impact. So I'd reread The Philosopher's Stone because I had issues with that one as well, but I enjoyed that and I loved kind of going into the world. But I didn't start read. I didn't read the books until 2011, 2012. So I was already about 16 when I first read them. So
that's right. I didn't read the books until I was in my 20s. But that's because I'm old.
but yeah, there's no like nostalgia read for me. So I read them all as a young adult or an adult. So it was quite nice to go into that world after seeing the films because I love the books more. So plus it made it easier to picture what everything looked like because I'd already seen the film. So
yep. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I'm just going to do a little shake it up. I've got a cat sitting on the desk next to me and she keeps being like, what are you doing? All right, I've grabbed 2, so I'll just put them there and then I'll grab a third. All right, we have got The Last Battle, which is the last book in the Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah.
And another Harry Potter, which is the Chamber of Secrets. So we already had that one. So I'll just pick another one. The Silver Chair we've already had. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Something a bit different. So we have got The Last Battle, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and New Moon.
I'd reread Charlie and the Chocolate Factory because I did read that when I was very young. I think I was only about 10 when I read that one. Oh, well, no, I'm lying. I am lying. I was 13 because I didn't start reading until I was 13, so I definitely didn't read it when I was 10. It was one of the first books on my book journey.
Oh, cool. So it's definitely an important book for you.
Yeah, it was good and I really enjoyed it. And I'd rewrite New Moon and I'd burn The Last Battle just because the explanations happened at the end.
Yes.
I would burn that one because I was not a fan of that and I feel like it ruined my experience of some of the series. Like, not to the point where I didn't like it because I still absolutely love it, but it tainted it a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like New Moon, I got stressed out because there are pages in the book where it's literally just the month she was in a depression, and I was a bit like, that's just a bit of a cop-out. You've just done 10 pages right in a month. And that annoyed me. But yeah, I'd just rewrite that and make it a bit more interesting, really.
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
So that's my choice.
And so you would reread Charlie. You said that already.
Reread Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Cool. I think I'm also going to reread Charlie and the Chocolate Factory because Roald Dahl, he's amazing. And I love his imagination. I wish I had the same imagination. I mean, not the same imagination. I wish I had such a vivid imagination. So I'll reread Charlie, and this is going to be tricky because probably under any other circumstances I would have said that I would burn New Moon because my whole Twilight thing. But I agree, The Last Battle, there are elements of The Last Battle that are really great and that I really enjoyed. But no, I'm going to burn New Moon. and I'm going to
Yeah.
rewrite Last Battle because there's still elements in that book that I really enjoy. And I mean, actually, there are elements in New Moon that I enjoyed. Like I said, when we first started, I did enjoy reading Twilight.
Yeah. It's one of them you wouldn't go back to.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
thankful for the experience, but you're glad it's done.
Pretty much. Yeah. That's a perfect way of putting it. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Prisoner of Azkaban,
Yep.
Mockingjay,
Okay.
and 1984.
Mockingjay 1985. Oh my god. What? How do I know? Okay. This is the hardest one so far. Oh god. Okay. People are gonna hate me again because once again I'm gonna burn Harry Potter.
Ooh.
But it's only in comparison to the other two. Even my mum was like, "You burnt Harry Potter?" So I'm going to burn Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Not because I don't love it, because I do love it. But 1984 is an incredible book, and I really enjoyed The Hunger Games. And I read The Hunger Games in my late 30s. So, yeah, I will burn Harry Potter. I will reread is it Catching Fire or Mockingjay?
Mockingjay.
Mockingjay. I'll read Mockingjay, and I will rewrite 1984. Not because I think that I could remotely rewrite a George Orwell book, but just because I enjoyed that book, but I actually enjoyed Mockingjay as an experience more.
Yeah. See, initially, I'm torn between burning Mockingjay in 1984.
Yep.
But it's hard because I don't dislike any of them. I think I enjoyed reading 1984 less, but that's just because it's an older book and I don't really find it that easy to read a book that was a bit older. Like I love the story, it's just the writing style.
Yeah,
It's just
fair
like,
enough.
but the story of 1984 is so good that I don't know if I could burn it.
Yeah.
Because it is, even though the writing style was a bit off for me, the
Yes.
story itself was actually really interesting and really good.
Yeah.
And really quite revolutionary because it's really right now, isn't it? So
yeah, it's scary.
So I think I'd end up burning Mockingjay just because of the entire Hunger Games trilogy. This is my least favorite one.
Yep.
I really liked it and I loved it, but I think with Mockingjay, because I loved the story of them going into the Hunger Games in the first two, Mockingjay was just like a big war story, and I was just like,
Yeah.
this isn't the Hunger
What's
Games I've
going
come
on?
to know and love.
Yeah, it's a very different story. Like I see how it fits in the trilogy and in the world, but it's quite a departure.
But it seems to it had none of the elements of the first two. I think it was just a big continuation, the big ending that it needed, but
yeah,
it was just sad to not see that. So I'd burn that. I would rewrite 1984 to a more modern writing style that I could read a lot easier, I think. And then I'd reread The Prisoner of Azkaban because I do like The Prisoner of Azkaban. It's hard judging Harry Potter books on what I like the most and least because I haven't read them since 2011, 2012. So
yeah, fair enough.
I do need a reread of them. But when I read them the first time, I distinctly remember Prisoner of Azkaban being my favourite.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'd reread that.
All right. No shade. I am not doing this for you. But look, there's a whole bunch of paper you can play with. Okay. She's not. She's ignoring it. All right.
She looks very unamused.
Yes, she really didn't care about that. Okay. We have Alice in Wonderland.
Oh. Okay.
I chucked that in without telling you because I remembered you read it recently. The Hunger Games and City of Bones.
I don't know why I'm thinking. Burn Alice in Wonderland. I really hated that. I really, really hated it. It was awful. See, it's tricky now because I've not read The Hunger Games since, well, I remember because I lived in my house. So in 2017. I read The Hunger Games. That was the first and only time I've ever read it. So it was quite a while ago compared to City of Bones.
Yeah, and you've only read City of Bones recently.
But I think I would reread The Hunger Games and rewrite City of Bones.
Yep.
I really enjoyed the content, so I wouldn't really change much of the content. I would change the length of the chapters because for the first few days until I was really, really into it, I basically just read one chapter a day because the chapters were like 20 or 30 pages long and I was struggling. So I basically changed the chapter length.
Yeah.
So that it was just shorter. So it'd be more more manageable for me to actually read. I'd change a bit of the content, to be fair. I don't know about specifics now, but I remember when I first read it, I was like, oh, well, that was pointless. Thanks for that information. But I really enjoyed the content overall, so I wouldn't really change much of the content, but I would just change the chapter length.
I'm looking down because I'm looking at the titles while I try and figure it out. I don't really know because I feel fairly similar to you about the content in Alice, although I wouldn't say that I hate Alice at all, but it is definitely odd. I could definitely see merit, but it's from an enjoyment factor. If we were talking about the movie of The Hunger Games and the TV series of Shadowhunters and any movie pretty much of Alice in Wonderland, then I would keep Alice. But if we're talking about the book versions, I'm probably going to burn Alice. And then I'll rewrite City of Bones as well. And then I will reread The Hunger Games. And I know that I said that I didn't love City of Bones, which I didn't love City of Bones, but I didn't hate it. Like, I enjoyed it. It's just, I enjoyed it. I just don't think Cassandra Clare is a particularly amazing, accomplished author.
Yeah.
It's my snobbish thing to say.
Well, I know me. I'm a very big fan of stuff like YA and kind of, I don't really know what the genre or category is, but it's like the fantasy, but it's based in reality.
Yeah, I think it's like urban fantasy, paranormal.
Yeah, so stuff like that, they're the genres I love. So really, that was the perfect book for me. But I can see why people that don't particularly love that genre as much as like, I know you like your high fantasy and like very fantasy world with the magic.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of high fantasy.
Like the laws of the magic and taking you to a new world, like with the Lord of the Rings. It's not Earth, really, is it?
No, definitely not.
For someone who likes that type of fantasy, I can completely see why it's not the best choice. Whereas for me, it was just kind of starting getting into fantasy. That was perfect for me. So
yeah, I can definitely see why that would be the case. I can definitely see why it is. I'm trying to think of how to phrase this so that I don't come across as a total snob, because I don't have an issue with young adult or literature at all, or middle grade literature at all. I quite enjoy both of those. But what I'm trying to say, I guess, is that I can totally see why it would be a excellent thing for someone to start out in a journey of fantasy, and particularly if they were younger and they were a young adult, start out a reading journey, if they were like 13 or 14. I can definitely see why that would be a perfect place to start and why they would really love it. But I feel like I'm kind of spoiled because I've already read like some of the best fantasy authors around. And so it's kind of like, yeah, I know she's super popular, but anyway, it's your turn.
I chose Great Expectations, just done The Hunger Games. Have we done the Deathly Hallows?
No.
Deathly Hallows and Peter Pan. So Great Expectations, Deathly Hallows, Peter Pan.
Okay. God. Okay. I'm going to burn Great Expectations because it is a good book, but I don't get on with Dickens that well. I
Mm-hmm.
like his storylines, but I don't know. I just don't get on with his writing very well. So I'm gonna burn Great Expectations. I will rewrite Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, even though it's actually I don't know if it's my favorite Harry Potter or my second favorite Harry Potter, but either way, it's up there. But Peter Pan is just beautiful and magical, and we probably wouldn't have books like Harry Potter without books like Peter Pan. So I will reread Peter Pan.
Good. I'm with you on Great Expectations. I would definitely burn that. But I've not really read much Dickens. Like I've read A Christmas Carol and Great Expectations, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I read Great Expectations for a part of my English GCSE. So it's a sense of you're forced to read it, you're naturally not. So
yeah.
I would like to I'd like to reread this just to see, like, without the pressure and see whether it's okay. But for the purpose of this game, I'd burn this one. And then I think I'd reread The Deathly Hallows and I'd rewrite Peter Pan just because I said in my video and then I did the book to movie comparison. The only thing I wasn't a fan of in the book, or the main thing I wasn't a fan of in the book, was the pirates, because there was like real pirates. Because I watched the film before I read the book, I saw the Captain Hook and Mr. Smee as the comedy evil kind of like bumbling idiot villains. So I'd rewrite it just to make them a bit more funny and a bit more likable, because it is still relatively, it's a children's story, so I think even the evil characters can have a bit of humor with them.
That's it. We're done.
Wow.
I know.
I'm very surprised that we agreed on so many.
So am I, actually.
We have different reading tastes.
Yeah, I would have thought we would have disagreed on a lot more stuff, but I guess that's what happens when you've had to choose a bunch of books that we've had to find books in common.
Yeah.
So we do have such different reading tastes. It was, difficult to find books in common.
It was.
That's okay, because I think we're both growing as readers and trying to branch out and stuff. Anyway, that was our game. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed us having our game. Comment below and let me know what books you would have potentially burnt or reread or rewritten. And go over to Connor's channel. The description for his channel is in the link even to his channel is in the description below, so go and check him out. He is a fantastic booktuber and a lovely person, and you should all follow him. And thank you all so much for watching. As I said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.